weeks into 2021 and India has its newest unicorn. The first unicorn of 2021 is Digit Insurance. And I'm now being joined by the founder, Kamesh Goyal, right here on ET Now. Kamesh, congratulations. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview. It's a big milestone. What's very interesting is that not only have you entered the coveted unicorn club with a $1 billion valuation, actually for you it's almost $2 billion. The press release says post the fundraise you're at $1.9 billion valuation. All of this that Digit has achieved in 3 years time. When you look at the last 3 years, how are you feeling?
Thanks, Nayantara. I think the feeling is good. I would say last 3 years have been exceptional for us. We have a great team, and I think the support from the insurance partners has also been immense.
Talk to us a little bit about Digit Insurance. It's 3 years old. I know your mission is to simplify it so that everybody understands what it is that they're actually buying, the product that they're actually buying, what they're entitled to. How simple is it? How big is Digit right now?
So, Nayantara, we have done last financial year, we had done about 2250 crores of premium. And this year till December in 9 months, we have done about 2200 crores of premium. So by 31st March of this year, we are looking at crossing 3000 crores. So almost a growth of about 30 to 33%. So I think from growth perspective, especially in a year where things have been anything but normal, I think it is satisfying. Two things on which I would say all of us take quite some pride in Digit is that our customer rating with more than 20,000 reviews on Facebook is 4.9 out of 5, which probably would put us as the highest rated insurance company in the world. And what is more fascinating in this is that almost all financial companies block their customers to come and write reviews on their social media pages. And in our case, we freely allow that. And that's why I said we have more than 20,000 reviews. Second is, I think this year when COVID came as a very unexpected sort of a guest, Digit was the first company to introduce a COVID insurance product way back in 27th of February. And that was a very uncertain time in terms of how the disease would pan out and what the loss ratios, etc., can be in health. But I think the response from the market was just exceptional. And we actually covered more than 20 lakh people in some form of a COVID insurance product. So I think that also, I would say for a new company like us to come out with a product which was very relevant and found resonance with the customers has also been very satisfying. So all in all, I would say the journey has been good. And wherever we are today, it encourages us to follow the same path.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you've given me some ideas of how big Digit has grown in the last 3 years, how you're pivoting, you're trying to innovate, you see organic growth when it comes to customer satisfaction as well on social media. But Kamesh, I understand that your mission is, of course, to simplify the product. And is it correct that Digit actually recruits teenagers, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds to go through the paperwork to test that if your end customer is actually understanding what the insurance product is all about? Is that correct?
Absolutely. We don't recruit them. I think through an NGO, we invite 15-year-olds to our office whenever we launch a product. The videos are actually available on our website. And when we go through a discussion with them, and they typically spend 1 full day on a product, they actually tell us how to rewrite some of the words and some of the language which is there in insurance. And I think when we go about this, and then you somehow quickly realize that in a country like ours, 15-year-old have been studying English for 10 years. So if they can't figure out what is covered and what is not covered, then maybe, there's a problem with the language which is being used. So I think that is one example. The second example is at the time of claims, we actually never ask customers to fill any form. We actually encourage customers to just call us at our call center and tell us what exactly happened. And I think this is then converted into some sort of a claim form. So we try and not take any papers from customers and try and make the interaction as easy as possible. But one thing, having been in insurance or financial services now for more than 30 years, Nayantara, I realize is that I think there's a long way for us to go to really change this. I would say initially we were very excited with the changes we were bringing in. But I think each day all of us realize that how much more one can do in this stage, especially when there is so much just confusion around this insurance terminology. So I would say we have just scratched the surface, but I think just encourages us to be on the right path.
You understand the world of finance so well, Kamesh, and that's why you saw this void, obviously, that existed, and you've obviously been able to lap up customers. Do you want to give us an idea? You've given me about premiums. How strong your customer base is? Do you primarily work with corporates? How does it work? Because, so unlike many other digital insurance companies and startups that have been mushrooming in recent times in India, you're also underwriting claims. You're an insurance company with a digital presence. You're not a distributor as such.
So absolutely, Nayantara, I think great question. So let me just give you again a couple of examples. So one is that we are trying to digitize the interaction which we have with the customers as well as with potential or with our distributors. So, and when we look at the customer segments, I think when we started, we looked at two segments where we felt that the potential is very high. One was travel insurance segments because 3 years back, Indians were traveling not only in India but overseas. So we came out with a delay insurance product where if the flight is delayed by say 75 minutes, we would actually pay a claim and everything was automated. Customers, we would actually send a message to the customer that your flight is delayed beyond 75 minutes and you are eligible for a claim, which was really very different. Initially, I remember getting some calls in our call center where customers were a bit confused that why an insurance company and which insurance company is this, which is informing them of the claim. The second product which we had launched about 2.5 years back was a cancellation insurance because I think cancellation fees was a big pain point. And with one of the travel OTAs, we had actually launched a cancellation insurance where you could actually buy a policy at the time of buying a cover and you could just cancel it for any insurance. So that was one segment which we were trying to tap, which is essentially families and business travelers. The second segment which we tried to tap was of millennials when we tried to do a lot of mobile insurance, whether for accidental damage and theft and screen damage, and then various versions came. So that was one segment which we tried to tap. A couple of segments which we tried to tap and couldn't succeed. One was jewelry insurance, where we really wanted more women customers to talk about insurance. Somehow it didn't fly. And second was this bicycle insurance. Typically, a lot of people are spending more than 10,000 rupees in buying a bike. And we felt that maybe, we can try and get customer segment, which is of mid-level, I would say, age people who are very health conscious. But these two products didn't fly, while on the other hand, travel and mobile insurance, etc., kicked off really well. When we look at the traditional, so-called traditional segments like motor or property insurance or fire, in motor, I think we deal with all sorts of distribution channels, typically motor dealers, these are agents, we also have retail brokers. So a host of different distribution channels have really come up in India in the last 5 years. So we deal with all of them. And in fire business, we would deal with large corporates and large brokers. So we typically deal with all kinds of channels and all customer segments, but try and position each product for a different demography in a way, and then definitely make all the customer journeys and interaction fully digital.
And Kamesh, is Digit profitable? Is it still in the cash burn stage? If you're not profitable, what's the road to profitability looking like?
So, Nayantara, we have been cash positive, I would say, fairly early in our journey. And this year, financial year, on a IFRS basis, which is International Financial Reporting Standards, we are also profitable. I think there is a slight difference, and don't want to get into the technicalities between the way accounting is done under IAD accounts and under IFRS. But under IFRS, we are already profitable.
So you're already profitable, and now I want to ask you the other question, which is that the press release says existing investors have participated in the new fundraise, which is why Digit has entered the Unicorn Club and is seeing a valuation of $1.9 billion. Who are these existing investors that are double downing on Digit?
So last year, Nayantara, when we started Digit, actually it was 100% held by a holding company. Where Fairfax and I are partners. But last year, we actually gave almost 10% of our equity to 3 private equity investors, which are Fairing Capital, TVS Capital, and A91 Partners. And at that time, they had infused about 600 crore rupees into the company. And another 55 crores came from our own management team, as well as some friends. So when we were looking at raising a small capital this year, and this is more from a solvency perspective, we feel that next year, as economies will definitely bounce back, the base is really, really small. We just wanted to be sure that we have enough capital for growth. And in our financial modeling, we felt that if we raise about 125, 140 crores of capital, that will actually be enough for the whole year. And because it was a small round, and I think our existing private equity investors were more than happy to participate, we actually just raised this money through these 3 existing private equity investors.
Okay. Now you obviously have some very fantastic investors as well. You have Prem Vatsa's Fairfax. You've also got Indian skipper Virat Kohli as an investor. Let me first begin by Prem Vatsa and Fairfax. How did that happen? And what has it meant having Fairfax as an investor?
So I think having Fairfax and Prem Vatsa as an investor, I would say, is a true blessing. I have known Prem since 2010, 2007, but had not really worked together. In the last 7-8 years after I had moved out of India, I think our interaction and our meetings were more often, and we would keep exchanging notes on what's happening in the insurance world and investment world across the boat. And that is where he would always tell me that, no, you should do something on your own and we will back you. So I think that is how I would say this came about. And incidentally, I think Prem was introduced to me by another insurance veteran and Ajit Jain of Berkshire. So I think that was an interesting coincidence from that perspective. But as I said, Prem is one of the most optimistic guys one would meet. And he's also a wonderful human being. Virat Kohli, I think, again, last year when we were doing this investment round, we happened to meet his team. And then I think this discussion started, and also met him. And then he decided to make a investment in Digit, for which I think we were quite happy about. And that is how we landed up with both Prem and Virat.
And you said you were introduced to Prem Vatsa by Ajit Jain of Berkshire Hathaway. Did you ever get a chance to pitch to Ajit and Warren Buffett or the team at Berkshire Hathaway?
Yes, I did. I think in 2011, Warren Buffett had made his first ever visit to India. And I think Ajit was very, very kind to set up a lunch with Warren and with him. So I was very fortunate to have met Warren. And Ajit is someone I consider more as a mentor, someone you can always learn from. And I have, whenever, I think last 1.5 years due to COVID, didn't really have an opportunity to meet him in person. But otherwise, I would always try and travel to New York to meet him, or if he's traveling to Europe, try and meet him. So he's somebody no one can always learn from. And I would say I consider myself fortunate that one has an opportunity to exchange notes with him and learn from him.
You know, Kamesh, it must be said, you've had a very illustrious career in insurance, and then you decided to go after your dream. You'd obviously been in the business long enough to know what the glaring gaps were, the voids that need to be filled. It's a 3-year journey where you've seen meteoric rise. In 3 years, you're seeing a valuation of your startup hit almost $2 billion. It's a tad shy of that. Look at the quality of investors you have, whether it is Prem Watsa or even the Indian cricket captain, right? It looks very rosy, but it must have been tough getting here to grow so fast as well. I think we always celebrate successes and we don't learn enough from the failures or the hard stuff that an entrepreneur had to go through. When you look back at your last 3 years, do you want to share examples with us on how tough it got, how rough it got, and how you went through with it, how you passed through it?
So Nayantara, first of all, I must say that no, I'm absolutely a very normal guy. People who know me will vouch for that. But I think I've always been very lucky in whether it was in India or when I was even in Germany to have a great team around me. So even when we started Digit, and I'm very consciously using the word we, I think it was a dream of say about 10, 12 people. And these are people who are, I would say, maybe best in the industry in their own areas. And they came together. And I think some of us have also worked together in the past. So I think a startup always goes through some pains, and let me tell you a couple of them. I would say the first initial one I still remember was the Dussehra time in 2018. We were the first company in a way to put the entire IT system on the cloud. People were not very conversant with this, and we used to have some hiccups, as in between suddenly and things like that, which happens typically when the systems are getting stabilized and things like that. But that day, the Dussehra, which is a very big day for motor business, a lot of new vehicles are sold. A system just went down like 4 or 5 hours. And I was in Delhi at that time, and we were wondering that we were really looking forward to the first festival season and for Digit, and things didn't really pan out that well that day. Secondly, I think during this COVID time, this was the first time when all of us were actually, this is the first strict lockdown. We came out with the product during lockdown. It was put on the system during lockdown. And we were actually expecting 200 proposals to come through in the next 2 months. And we were just, I would say, deluged with the proposals. And we struggled during this period for almost 3 weeks to put the system in place. And we could not sit together and define customer journeys and things like that. And we were just trying to communicate through Teams. So I think there have been a couple of instances. But I must also admit that I think with the sort of team we have here, I don't think there has been a single day where I would say I have been stressed because I think when you have great people around you, they always take care of whatever is happening. So from that perspective, I would say it has been a hard journey. I think in terms of work, people have put in huge amount of hours, no holidays and things like that. But overall, I think it has still been very, very satisfying. I don't think anyone would actually complain as to what we have gone through in the last 3 years. I think we have been just plain lucky and very, very fortunate.
And modest, I can make out. But Kamesh, before I let you go, let's end with asking you, what is your target for the next 3 years? You already done so much in the first 3 years. I get that. Many people take 10 years, 12 years to get where you've reached, if at all. So I'm not even going to ask you for the next 10. Next 3, what's the target? What's the game plan?
So I think the game plan is simple, that I think we have to continue on this journey of simplifying insurance and back it up with an exceptional service. I think when we look at our net promoter score, we don't compare it with financial services companies or insurance, but we compare it with the best companies, in the world. Some of this learnings on this actually came when we read the Zappos story first time. Unfortunately, the founder died just about 2-3 weeks back. So I think that journey will continue. And secondly, I would say that I think our partnership model, where we try and work with our partners or distribution partners to solve their problems and try and empower them, I think it has been extremely rewarding. So I think we will continue to double down on this. And in a market like India, where growth is happening in general insurance business, market is heavily underpenetrated. I would say, I think if we focus on the first two, the top line and the growth will automatically happen.
And with that, Kamesh, yes, wishing you all the very best from the entire team at ET Now. Big congratulations. What a great way to start the year, and look forward to many more interviews.
Thanks a lot, Nayantara, for your wishes, and thank you for your time.